Minutes past 8. Martin Hibbert and his daughter Eve were the closest people to the Manchester Arena bomb to survive. After suffering 22 shrapnel wounds and a severed spinal cord, Martin was told he would never walk again.
Well, since then, he's taken on a number of gruelling fundraising challenges, and this year he's aiming for the toughest one yet, climbing Mount Kilimanjaro. Graham Satchell has been to see him and some of the team, see how they're preparing.
It is a risk. I am putting my life on the line doing it. I wanted something that people looked and thought, he's doing what? You know what I mean? It's like, it's hard enough for somebody with legs to do it, and here's a guy do it in a wheelchair.
Mount Kilimanjaro, the highest peak in Africa. It will be an immense challenge for a man whose life was changed forever in an instant. This is Martin with his daughter Eve just hours before the Manchester Arena bomb. Eve suffered life-changing brain injuries in the attack. Martin's X-ray shows he was hit by 22 pieces of shrapnel, leaving him paralysed from the waist down.
With everything that I've been through, it's just made me so determined, you know. I'm not religious or anything, but for a long time after I was injured, I couldn't come to terms with why me and Eve had survived when everybody literally around us had died instantly. And maybe this is it. Maybe my role in this world is for this moment to change people's lives.
Martin is meeting up with some of the crew who will go up the mountain with him.
That sounds good.
So this is called climatisation for it. This is the top of Kilimanjaro. This is what we're doing.
And we're failing badly.
Stuart is the head of major trauma at Salford Royal, which is where I went after the bomb. So they saved my life, basically. You know, he did a lot for me and my family.
This is somebody who's got life-changing injuries, feels like he has to climb a mountain every day. Just a really caring, selfless man that just wants to do good.
Steve is my best friend. He's been an absolute rock for me. He was there pretty much on the day that I was injured, and he's literally been there every day for me ever since.
You don't think it happens to people that you know, and you know, to hear that actually he was on death's door along with his daughter was really distressing.
Steve recently lost his wife to cancer. Together, Martin and Steve have helped each other through.
And I can say that is amongst a very small group of friends who regularly message me, text me, call me, make sure I'm doing okay, because we all go through things in life, sometimes unexpected, but it is the power of friendship, I think, that can get you through.
On the day that I was told I wasn't going to walk again, I met Gary, and he basically said, look, you know, the life that you want to live is up to one person, and it's you. Gary is a support coordinator at the Spinal Injuries Association. I wouldn't be able to do it without him, without Gary.
When you think about spinal cord injury, you know, it happens in the blink of an eye, and all of a sudden, you know, you're facing a future that, you know, you've never even considered. This journey that Martin's undertaking is, you know, absolute epic challenge, yes, but highlighting and raising awareness of what it means to have a spinal cord injury is just, for me and for our community, is just brilliant.
Martin will be using a specially modified wheelchair like this to climb Kilimanjaro. 90% of the route is accessible, and Martin is determined to reach the summit under his own steam. He's hoping to raise money for the charity, the Spinal Injuries Association.
7 people a day are spinal cord injured, but only 1 in 3 go to a spinal unit like I did. So to think that there's people with spinal cord injuries won't get that and just go home, it just, like, even now talking about it, I get really angry about it, that we allow that to happen. There's carers aren't turning up because they've got COVID. They don't get fed, they don't get changed, they don't get showered, and I'm like, it just can't be right that there's people living that life, you know? If we give everybody the help and support that I've had to live a fulfilled life, look at what they can do. They can literally climb mountains. When we get to that summit, what a powerful moment that will be with some of the people that saved my life. That, you know, people that are being told they aren't going to walk again, they see me at the top of Mount Kilimanjaro, raising all this money, raising awareness, and hopefully changing people's perceptions about disabled people to be able to inspire and motivate people that are being told today that they're not going to walk again. That's what all this is about.
Martin has already achieved so much: wheelchair races, meeting famous athletes and actors. And travelling to Australia to learn to walk again with an exoskeleton suit. His determination knows no bounds. But Kilimanjaro will be the most significant achievement yet.
Blimey, we're joined now by Martin and nurse consultant Stuart Wildman, who will also be climbing Mount Kilimanjaro.
Morning, fellas.
Good morning.
What you just said was, it looks pretty high.
Just a bit. Just a bit.
But you think you can do it?
Of course. I think certainly the journey that I've been on since being injured, you know, I kind of say that kind of every day feels like you're climbing a mountain when you're spinal cord injured and in a wheelchair being disabled. Feels like every day you're climbing some form of mountain. So this is just another one that we'll get round, and obviously having some of my friends and obviously some of the people that are now friends but obviously saved my life and helped that recuperation when I was in hospital, you know, Stuart see me at my worst, so to be at the summit, you know, it's going to be very emotional. I think we'll need plenty of tissues up at the top, I think.
I can see how things are developing. You've got jumpers now, Martin. I mean,
yeah,
it's
twins.
I know you talked about Stuart being part of your recovery. Just give us an idea of how you met and sort of how Stuart came into your life.
Stuart's probably better because I was high on drugs at the time. I don't remember a lot of our interactions, but I know that there's various kind of things that I remember, like Stuart came in, like friends and family that know me very well know that I like my appearance and doing my hair and being clean shaven and things, and at the time one of the things I do remember is kind of looking in the mirror after being in hospital for probably 5-6 weeks and not looking the best, and I said like I just didn't feel like a man, and I know that probably sounds a bit strange, but Stuart came in and gave me a shave. And I always get really emotional when I talk about it because it was just so like gentle, but this guy kind of came in and gave me a shave, and I just remember thinking and looking in the mirror and just feeling like a man and just feeling like human again. And it's just little touching moments like that. And
something really simple.
Yeah, and obviously he's become, you know, and that was one of many things that he did. He, you know, I don't remember it, but he took me to the memorial on St Anne's Square, and you know, he moved heaven and earth at the time. You know, so yeah, he's become a very close friend now because of that.
Which is amazing, and here you are now, you know, climbing Kilimanjaro together. What are your, obviously, you know, as you say, you were heavily medicated at that time, but obviously you had a huge impact on Martin.
Yeah, no, I mean, Martin came down, I think he spent initially about, was it 14 days, I think, in intensive care unit first, and then Martin came under my care then, and then like I said at the time, he was, you know, at his lowest, needed a lot of care at the time. I think he still had over his 20 wounds that he had, needed dressing. That used to take us hours to be able to do. We used to have to set a whole time out in the ward. And, you know, when somebody's had such an injury and such a life-changing injury, it's very, very difficult to be able to understand that and empathise that. And it's what you can do as a person, and, you know, helping Martin feel human again with just little things like a shave went a long way. And I think even allowed you to have your brothers come in and a couple of beers to watch the football in his room. That was a bit sneaky, but any way that you can help, you know, you do, to make that person feel valued again and to get them back to where they need to be again.
And I would imagine that obviously the medical care that you receive, but that layer of care that does make you feel like a human being again, that means you're an individual, a person, I bet is just as important as making sure the wounds are dressed.
Of course, yeah. I mean, I've talked about it a lot. You know, we don't see the amazing work that the NHS does every day, and it's not until you need it that you see it and you value it. But like I say, it's, you know, up until I was injured, I'd never been in hospital.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think that 40 years I've kind of used up now in like the last 4 years with kind of the hospital stays that I've had. But yeah, it's not until you kind of need it and you use it that you value it, and you see it like firsthand what these people do because they care and they want to see you get better.
You've obviously had a big impact on Martin. I wonder what the impact that he's had on you. Obviously, you're now climbing Kilimanjaro together, but how has he inspired you and others?
I think it's just his inspiration and his selflessness to be able to drive and help others in similar situations. You know, the spinal injury community, you know, does struggle out there. So we can help in the hospital, but what Martin does and what his goal is to help them out into, you know, into the community too, because spinal injuries is, you know, it's life changing, but it doesn't mean that you can't have that life and you can't have a fulfilled life. And his passion for it and his determination to make sure that people with spinal injuries get that is just overwhelming. You know, he's just somebody, he's inspirational is probably the word that comes to mind, really. Mad, but inspirational.
I was really nervous, actually. When I was going to ask him to do Kilimanjaro, because I didn't know what he would say, but I was with my wife and I was like, right, I'm going to ask him all these questions and I've got like all the answers, so if he comes back, so I thought I'd be talking with him for an hour, and I rang him up and I went, right, I've got something to tell you, and literally within like 2 seconds, like, yeah, I'll do it. I was like, all right, you're not even going to...
She was mad as he is.
Well, I said, yeah, the imposter syndrome happened immediately afterwards, but yes, without a hesitation, it's an honour. You know, it's an honour to be part of the journey and to be able to achieve what he wants to achieve. You know, it's...
How are you now, Martin? Because you said at the beginning part of the reason you wanted to do this was you feel like you're climbing a mountain every day anyway. Are you still learning about what it is to live with spinal injury?
Yeah, I think, you know, people who've seen me interviewed like previously, I talk about life with a spinal cord injury being like a never-ending game of snakes and ladders, and that's the easiest way I can put it, where like for a large part of the year you're climbing the ladders and everything's looking good, and then I ended up in hospital with an infection. I was in hospital for a week, so you're back down a snake and you're back at number one, so you're almost kind of having to reinvent yourself all the time, and that's what it's like, and sometimes it does get you down. But you know, people like Stuart and my friends, you know, don't allow me to kind of give up, and you know, so I use them for motivation as well. But you know, it is hard, but that's what this climb is all about. You know, that's why we're raising £1 million. You know, I'm a trustee at the Spinal Injuries Association, so what we're doing, we're highlighting kind of, you know, I'm even with everything that I've been through, I talk about me being really lucky. You know, I went to Salford Royal, one of the best hospitals in Europe. I had great love, care. They built me back up. And then obviously I went to the spinal unit in Southport, which is one of the UK's best. You know, so I've always had this support. And then when I became a trustee, I found out that that's not the case with everybody with a spinal cord injury, and a lot of people don't have that. And something in me just kind of like, that can't happen. So that's what all this is about, that look at what somebody that's disabled and in a wheelchair with a spinal cord injury, look at what they can do when they've got all the help and support. So hopefully, you know, we get the UK on our side, we raise the £1 million, we summit Kilimanjaro, and then hopefully we can lobby government to say, look, you know, things need to change in 2022. You know, this can't go on where, you know, people with spinal cord injuries aren't going to like the hospitals, they aren't going to the spinal units, they're not getting the care and support and devotion that I had to live a fulfilled life. And when you look at some of the things that are happening today in the UK with disabled people, it just can't go on.
It's good to see that you're dreaming big.
Of course.
And we will continue to follow your story.
Thank you. Thank you for your support.
Keep an eye on you. Thank you very much. And it's going to start of June.
Yeah, we fly out end of May and we start 2nd of June.
Okay.
So, yeah.
My own advice is eat all the time, OK? But we'll keep
I just
very
love
close
Stuart's
eye on you.
reaction of, oh, it looks quite high.
Thanks, fellas. All the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.